Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain and I am your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. This is day 16 of our trek and today we are considering the aggregation of marginal gains and the potential for a huge impact those minor changes can have on our lives. We are recording our podcast from our studios in Home 2 in Charlotte, North Carolina, and this week has been packed with work and activities. Even our evenings were busy as we had my sister over on Tuesday night, a neighbor's birthday dinner on Wednesday, and a night of worship on church on Friday. As we trek through life together, having a strong community both in person and online is crucial. While some downplay the concept of online communities, they can be very important and powerful in our lives. As we grow in wisdom, it is important that we reach out to others to both give and receive strength and encouragement. Let us know how we can assist you as members of our Wisdom Trek community. Please share your stories or questions with us at wisdom-trek.com/contact us. And if you would like, we can work those into future podcasts so that everyone on our trek can get to know each other better. On yesterday's trek, we learned about the 5 principles of planting and harvesting, which also apply to our lives as we plant good seeds in our own lives and the lives of others. I have created a PDF of the 5 principles, which can be found on our free resources page at wisdom-trek.com/resources. And if you missed any of the previous podcasts or journals, please go back and check them out on iTunes, Stitcher, or wisdom-trek.com. As we leave the clearing of yesterday and continue upward on our trek, we will look at how important each small step on our trek of life is. So many times we are looking for the big changes, big results, and instant success in our lives. Instead of these huge breakthroughs, which usually never happen, we should focus instead on the small aggregation of marginal gains. While it is vital to know where we are heading or our destination, it is also important to know how we are going to get there. Vision and goals are important, but they will only be achieved one small step at a time. It is by connecting these small steps together that we are able to make great strides. So what is the aggregation of marginal gains? It means the identification of a number of areas in which we can make small gains, which all add up to something much greater. The phrase coined by one of the finest elite sports coaches in the world, Sir David Brailsford, this philosophy was used by the UK cycling team to win most of the medals in the 2004 Olympics in London and by Team Skies to win the next year's Tour de France. British cycling has risen from nowhere to lead the world in a relatively short space of time, building on the platform for lasting success. While most people will look for a few big improvements, usually without success, a wise person will look for a lot of small, even seemingly insignificant areas of life to take action to improve on. Let's take an example that most of us can relate to, and that is of maintaining a healthy weight for our height and age. While I am currently pretty close to my ideal weight and in good shape physically, that has not always been the case. I have been as much as 30 pounds heavier than I am now, but I did not lose all that weight at once. It took the aggregation of marginal gains to reach my current weight. I did change what I was eating some, but the biggest impact was on choosing to eat a little less than I previously did. I also started exercising on a more regular basis, but I did not start out running a 10K every morning like I do most days now. It was the small, incremental changes in habits over a period of months that made the difference. It's so easy to overestimate the importance of one defining moment and underestimate the value of making better decisions on a daily basis. Almost every habit that we have, good or bad, is the result of many small decisions made over time. And yet, how easily we forget this when we want to make a change. Jim Rohn put it this way: success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day, while failure is simply a few errors in judgment repeated every day. So often we convince ourselves that change is only meaningful if there is some large, visible outcome associated with it, whether it is losing weight, building a business, traveling the world, or any other goal that you may have. We often put pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvements that everyone will talk about. Meanwhile, improving just 1% isn't notable, and sometimes it isn't even noticeable. But it can be just as meaningful, especially in the long run. And from what I can tell, this pattern works in the same way in reverse, or an aggregation of marginal losses, in other words. If you find yourself stuck with bad habits or poor results, it's usually not because of something that happened overnight. It's the sum of many small choices, a 1% decline here and there that eventually leads to a problem. In the beginning, there is basically no difference between making a choice that is 1% better or 1% worse. In other words, it won't impact you very much today. But as time goes on, these small improvements or declines compound and you suddenly find a very big gap between the people who make slightly better decisions on a daily basis and those who don't. This is why small choices, such as I'll take a burger and fries, don't make much difference at the time, but add up over the long term. Let's go back to our weight loss example. As we're on our trek, are you finding it difficult to keep up due to carrying a few extra pounds that have accumulated over the past few years? How can the aggregation of marginal gains impact this situation? If you are currently consuming 4,000 calories per day, and your daily recommended calorie intake should be 2,000 calories in order to lose the weight needed, would it be possible to consume 40 less calories tomorrow? That is only 3 ounces of a soft drink, 1/3 of an ounce of potato chips, or 1 small cookie. If each day you can add the same amount to the previous day's reduction, in less than 50 days, your calorie consumption will reach the 2,000 calorie per day level. If you want to make significant changes in your life, most of the time, it will come through the aggregation of marginal gains. If you improve 1% a day, it will only take 100 days to reach 100% improvement. Can we do that in the various areas of our life? I think that we can. As we consider the power of small changes, let us consider what Christ had to say about how a very small item can make a big impact on the work around us. This is taken from Matthew 13, verses 31 through 33. Here is another illustration Jesus used. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed planted in a field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but it becomes the largest of garden plants. It grows into a tree, and birds come and make nests in its branches. Jesus also used this illustration. The kingdom of heaven is like the yeast a woman used in making bread. Even though she put in only a little yeast in 3 measures of flour, it permeated every part of the dough. The truth is that most of the significant things in life aren't standalone events, but rather a sum of all the moments when we choose to do things 1% better or 1% worse. Aggregating these marginal gains makes a difference. There is power in small wins and slow gains, and that is why it's said average speeds yield above average results. This is why a system is greater than the goal. And this is why mastering your habits is more important than achieving a certain outcome. Where can you implement 1% improvements in your life today? That'll finish our podcast for today. Check out today's journal entry for a free PDF chart of the aggregation of marginal gains. Tomorrow we will look at the value of a checklist in our trek of life and how it applies to creating a living legacy. So please check into camp tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. As always, I encourage you to leave a discussion topic, comment, suggestion, or question about this podcast in the comment field on wisdom-trek.com/day 16 or email me at guthrie@venturecg.com. If you'd like us to discuss any of the topics or answer any questions during our podcast, please let us know. We'd love to have the interaction from the members of our Wisdom Trek community. And please subscribe on iTunes or the player of your choice so that you'll have Wisdom Trek downloaded every day. And if you haven't done so already, please leave us a rating on an episode. This will mean so much to us, and spread the word to everyone you know to join us on our Wisdom Trek. We do thank you and appreciate you listening today. Check out wisdomtrek.com for our daily journal, wisdom nuggets, and free resources. As we take this trek together, let us always live abundantly or fully, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy the journey, and create a great day. See you tomorrow.